This is our day 9 to 12 of our 21 days sugar investigation. And with us today is Mr. Leon Perry. Hi, Leon.
Hi, everyone.
Let me give you some rhymes first. Rhyming. I call it rhyming because it's not a rap, it's not a poem. It doesn't follow the normal rules. So, here we go. Are you a sugar thief that needs a sugar police? Am I a sugar thief trying to hide my fears? Sugar is my entertainment with a consequence, you see. My body's health is compromised when the mind, like a socket on the wall, transforms energy so the mind can use when it needs fuel to function. Finally, when I lay to rest, I decide to end the nightmare, embrace sugar as me, and journal my daily food to be aware. And look at my fears, forgive and rewrite the mind patterns so I can correct and direct for what is best for all in the end. It is working with the body, asking what nutrients it needs. For it is not about entertainment, but a relationship that is based on what is best for the body as we. Day 9 is about a memory that came of me in high school having these heart pains. But the doctor said there's nothing wrong with me. So this fear of disease and fear of heart pains led me to go to, it's a talk on vegetarianism, and at the end, they have a dinner or a lunch. I forgot now what it is. But we ate this food that is bland, and they started talking about the health benefits of vegetarianism. So that led me to the vegetarian diet. So let's look at that fear that led me to vegetarianism. The fear of disease, the fear of having heart pains. It's uncomfortable, of course. It was difficult. I had difficulty breathing. And when I became vegetarian, because they were telling me meat is bad for me, so I actually, I didn't have anything in my brain to kind of explain why I am having these heart pains. So I ended up taking that information that they gave me, or the media, of course, there's a lot of talk in the media regarding that, and holding on to that as my belief. It's not even mine. I did not investigate that part. I did not even test that. I just took it as if I'm like falling in a ravine, and that is the only rope I can grab. And I grabbed it. You see, how many of you guys are in that situation? Please comment below this video if you have the same predicament. So disease happens when we are not, in fact, part of our own ecological makeup. I mean, this internal and external ecology is existent in life. I call the internal one the mind ecological system, and the external one the money system, relationship systems. So unless we take it back to ourselves and kind of infuse these systems with that ease, disseminate ease or comfort. And that we can do through, first, let's go to the internal ecosystem. If something's wrong with the ecosystem, what do? You look at the problem and then you do something that will repair that ecosystem, that will put it back to a point of balance and wholeness. So the way I do that with the mind, of course, is to release release the fears and the judgments that I have. And here I judged me. So within that fear of meat based on the belief that's not even mine, but I took it from somewhere, either from my teachers, from my parents, from my friends, from the media, or from the movies I watch. It's from somewhere. And usually, if you don't have anything, what the brain does is take something easy to explain it. And that's what happened. So let's say fear of meat. I blame meat. Meat is, what is meat? It is coming from animals. It is like the muscle in our body. So for some pain, there is a blame. I have to blame someone for it, something or someone. And in this case, it was the pork. And of course, the beef. For some reason, we did not see chicken and them a source of this problem during that time. But now I feel sorry for myself that I have done this to the pig. And so let me say some self-forgiveness. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to believe that meat is bad for me. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to judge meat as bad based from a belief that if I eat meat, I will develop heart pains. And if I eat vegetables, the pain will stop. So then, after that self-forgiveness, it's this release of this guilt within me and this fear, that then I can see the pork for what it is, you see. And of course, if you repair a relationship with someone, just like you repair a relationship with your husband or wife, you really make up for it. So the way I made up for it is, after 29 years of being vegetarian, I embraced meat. And that's another story that we will tell you later on. But it ended into a cool thing because I was able to make some ebooks that I didn't know I can make at that time. It was from a point of, I don't know how to do this, but let me find a way and how to do it. So I committed so many mistakes. It costed us so much money because of these mistakes. But how else would you do it? Would you just get a template and do it? But I wanted to also redefine the way we do ebooks, you know. So I called it the living ebook because it was a log of what I ate for a month, and I lost 9.3 pounds. But that's another hangout. So for now, let me say this, because within the fear of disease is fear of death. The reason why I fear death is I believe that this me that I call myself, you know, me, myself, and I, yeah, and I believe that's separate from life. Meaning, I am here and life is over there. So within that separate identities, I'm trying to kind of bring life back to me. And within trying to bring life back to me, I'm feeling that every day it's getting nearer and nearer. And when death comes, death is going to take that all away from me. I'm going to lose it. Not realizing that I am here as the breath. I don't have to bring life to me because I am here breathing, you see. I'm the breath that is within this body. So the way I correct that is I realize that I'm the breath and I remain. And I sit on that, and that is where I start using common sense and living that. So that's all for me for day 9. Let's hear what happened to Leon on day 9. Leon?
Yeah, so what we're doing here is we're doing a 21-day mind investigation of sugar. We've actually already done it, so we're just sharing our processes, our experiences to the world. So basically, we're starting on day 9 today, and on day 9, I remember writing
That blog.
that blog. It was about
2 years ago.
2 years ago. June 7th, to be exact. So
In day 9, I used the faculty of taste, basically to suppress
my relationship to depression, because at that time I was depressed about some things, and so I used the faculty of taste to suppress my relationship to depression. So that what exists externally is an appearance of happiness, and that appearance of happiness was basically what kept me stable externally, you know, like around people and stuff like that. But that appearance of happiness is also a happiness that exists on a superficial level, where in your conscious mind you feel content, basically. So it's that contentedness that I am referring to. So that was my day 9.
Thank you, Leon. Day 10 for me is when I saw the fear that I had of eating the same meal every day. I didn't know I have that fear. I I meditated for about 29 years. And I can sit here right now and I can go into a point of bliss for an hour, even, or more if I want to. It's instant, you see. Because I learned it. It's something like whatever, like a habit that you get. But then you have to close your eyes. The question is, why do I have to close my eyes to be able to get into somewhere inside my mind? Thinking that that place in my mind, that little place in my mind that is expanded, this consciousness that they say is like, boom, is the supreme, infinite supreme point. Well, I was wrong, because if really it's a place of the supreme or the infinite, well, isn't this reality a part of that? And why do I have to close my eyes? I did not use common sense. So I'm saying that if you're meditating, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that that is my experience of it. And I realized that I have to transcend that rather than avoid that. So let's go back to our day 10. Day 10 is the same meal every day. I saw a combination of food item, and and that includes, by the way, a slice of cake. But these portions of this food is is different than the normal food that I eat. I always test during this 21-day sugar investigation. I tested my blood sugar, and if you need to see the record and our ebook on this, it's available at junroca.selz.com. And there are also free stuff there that you can get. So this fear of eating the same food or the same meal every day came because I saw that I can eat this same combination of meal every day and my blood sugar will stabilize. What I didn't realize is that when you're using like a diabetic monitor, you can manipulate it to a point where it will give you the results you want, you see. But is that how the body really works? So at the moment, I'm doing a 21-day investigation on on the relationship between me and the body. And food, me and the body. Let me say that. And then when I'm done, I'm gonna also do a hangout on that, or whichever social platform will be best at that time. But this same meal every day is coming from also layering of memories, because I remembered one time my dad was left with us and my mom has to go somewhere, and we ate like dried fish and rice every day because he didn't know how to cook, and we were young. So we were like, oh man, my mom knows how to cook, and she would ask us, what do you like to eat? And she would cook. And here we are. My dad is the one with us, and he did not know how to cook. So we have to eat this rice and dried fish every day. So that triggered that memory. So that fear of eating the same meal every day is not only just that meal that I was looking at. It was magnified by this memory. So whenever you have aversion for some food item, look at the memory, forgive yourself, and also forgive the aversion for that food. Test it again if the body still doesn't like it, or it has reactions, physical reactions. Well, don't. That's when you know that you have done your part, and the body still has reactions, so you don't eat that. But it's a case to case basis because we have different sets of DNA. So what I can see here is a fear. So I will do a self forgiveness. I will say a self forgiveness statement. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to fear eating the same meal every day, having connected or associated that with a memory of me with my dad eating rice and dried fish every day, magnifying the whole experience of eating the same meal every day, where the fear was magnified and my reaction was magnified, and I cannot see what is before me, what the investigation was about, what is the common sense behind it. And so my correction is to, rather than react to eating the same meal every day, investigate what the body prefers and not judge it as good or bad, depending on our beliefs of what should we eat and what shouldn't we eat. Also, judging eating different food items daily as better than eating the same food items daily. But rather, look at food from the point of what the body needs. And repair our relationship with the food items that we eat, so that we can enjoy it. We can savor its texture, its smell, the different way that the food expresses itself in this world. So that's my day 10. Leon, do you have anything to share with regards to day 10 of your process?
Yeah, so we went to see a documentary called Fed Up. We were there in Dallas 2 years ago at a film festival. Fed Up is a documentary by Katie Couric, who exposes how corporations within the food industry is making money from essentially our emotions with food that has a high sugar and carbohydrate content, basically. One of the key things that has been marketed for years in the food industry is that one thing that has been tacitly marketed, because marketing comes from our likes in relation to what we like about food, what we favor, the things that are tastefully pleasing. And so that is what the marketing industry will thus focus on. And what I wanted to explain and to share with you basically is how the food industry is blamed, because this is something that I wrote about in my Day 10 blog, is how the food industry is blamed when not really realizing, seeing that the food industry exists the way that it is set up. Basically, the food industry is marketing our own desires back to us. There has been some statistics given within the Fed documentary, and that is between the years 1970 and 1990, the consumption of high fructose corn syrup in America has increased by 1,000%. So if you don't know what high fructose corn syrup is, it's basically a sugar made from corn, which is almost identical to sugar. And the problem is that when we do not investigate where our foods come from, and what the content of the particular food item or items are that we are consuming, what happens is that a trust will be automatically given to the foods that we eat because of the taste. And then what happens is that we become accustomed to choosing foods that are primarily based on taste and not really looking at the content of what is in the food. And so thus carbohydrates, I'm sorry, and not carbohydrates, corporations that work with the food industry can use this lack of knowledge, this lack of awareness, this lack of concern, basically, to their advantage and place in, for instance, hard to pronounce ingredients, things that are not effectively known to us, such as high fructose corn syrup. I didn't know about high fructose corn syrup. I didn't know that. I saw it, but it didn't really concern me of what it was. But watching this documentary helped me to understand and become aware of high fructose corn syrup in general. And that ingredient basically is beneficial to the food industry because of its low economic value. It doesn't take a lot of finance to make it. And so that is what is placed into foods, and it is something that has an effect on our body in the long run. Because of it having an effect on our body in the long run, the food industry is blamed when we as humans did not take the initial responsibility to correct our relationship to food, to understand our relationship to food, and that was my Day 10.
Thank you, Liam. My Day 11 is about a memory again of me when I feared that the heart pains that I had before, and went vegetarian. It eventually led me to cooked vegan and then raw vegan diet. So I am looking at this memory during this day as I was looking at what happened, what really happened. Why did I really um, go into raw food? I remembered this raw food diet started when, as I was cooked vegan from Melbourne, Australia. I came over to the US because I was invited by my mom, who is already an American citizen at that time. And I went to this raw food restaurant where I tasted this raw cheesecake, raw cake. I think it's raw brownie with raw ice cream. And the raw brownie is made out of dates and walnuts, and the ice cream was made out of either almond milk or cashew milk, some coconut oil, virgin coconut oil, agave syrup, and stuff like that. And when I ate it, it was so tasty that I said to myself, I want to be a raw vegan. But before that, I was looking at the internet, looking at the videos of the raw vegans, and their face lights up, and I connected that to health. And having tasted this is so. Here is me forming this connections, raw vegan, glowing faces of these raw foodists, and the taste of this raw food. And eventually, what I did is got into raw food, and that was where I was diagnosed with cancer. That's the memory that I was looking at during this day. I guess I was eating raw food at that day. I don't know. I forgot by now, but I chose to put that memory here because that was what impacted me during that day. So as you can see now, that fear of disease is the one that's pushing me to look for something. Like, when you're face to face with a dangerous situation, you're up to look for a weapon that you can use so that then the danger would disappear. And that's how I saw food at that time, going to vegetarian food, and then cooked vegan, and then raw vegan food. The more weapon I have, or the more I evolve myself to these food personalities that is giving me this superior identity, coming from of course an inferior definition of myself, having defined myself within disease. And everyone I know, most people I know, consider people who have a disease as inferior. So seeing people judging others as that, I projected it onto me. So I'm inferior too. But that's not real, I just interpreted that from what I heard from others. So for me, my self-forgiveness today would be just to give you a taste of self-forgiveness, because there are a lot of forgiveness points to consider, even with just this particular particular fear, you see, fear of disease, and eventually I was diagnosed with a disease, you see. They say what you resist persists, and that's exactly what happened, you know. So I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to fear being inferior, and within that try to become superior through taking on a vegetarian diet first, then a cooked vegan diet, then a raw vegan diet, to evolve me to the superior personality. And my correction for that is to not see food as either raw, cooked, vegan, and make one better than the other, but see all food items as equal to who I am. I mean, they are all here in this world. I am here in this world, dust to dust. I come from the dust of the earth. I go back to the dust of the earth. They come from the dust of the earth. They go back to the dust of the earth. Equal and one, you see. So I remind myself that whenever I see myself about to judge, or, you know, in the middle of judging, you know, food items, I have to do it before or while I can see that this fear is appearing before me or within me, because so that I can direct it. Because where does these thoughts and fears come from? We don't even know where they come from. I mean, so we're not really directing them. We're believing that this came from us as that self, that is the I, the me, and myself. Not realizing that I have personalities that, you know, that is just a definition that I gave myself within a limited perception of what is going on, because I don't really know where those thoughts come from, where I get those judgments from. All I know is that I'm not directing those. So to take responsibility and to look at them, to me, is a gift to self. It's part of self-intimacy. And to be able to do that, to be able to take a fear or a desire and look at it, and then from looking at it, come to a point of, oh, I'm really sorry that this happened, because you see, these food items are really just like me. They come from the dust of the earth and they go back to the dust of the earth. And what I'm doing is like having a beauty contest in my mind, saying this food item is better, this one is not, you know. I mean, if you are a human and someone will do that, compare you to, which we do most of the time, you see, I would also not like it. Meaning, it's not the best thing for that person to be compared to another and analyzed, because really there's nothing to analyze, because dust to dust. that self-intimate process of looking, directing, and taking it back to myself, taking responsibility rather than blame. That is a creative process. That is self-directive process, and that is my process, and that is what I want to share with you because it has helped me a lot. So we will come up with some free self-forgivenesses, some self-forgivenesses that you can purchase for specific diseases and specific problems in your life. We will have those for you. And the most amazing thing, not the most amazing because that's double superlative, let's say, and the good news is that we have these tools for you available, and we even have the digital part of it. So, I need to mention this, that raw food is really not raw as per looking at the fact that the sun cooks the fruit while it's in the tree at a certain temperature. Cooking in a dehydrator is cooking. It's not really raw. It's just a lower temperature, you see. That's what happened when we deify a particular way of cooking, like raw food being cooked at 118 degrees and below. We deify it as better than cooking in a high temperature. Cooking is cooking. Okay, let's hear Leon and sharing with us his 11th day of the 21-day sugar investigation.
All right, so again, to reiterate, what we're doing is what we've done is a 21-day sugar investigation in 2014, and we're sharing with you our experiences, our processes in relation to sugar. And my day, day 11, basically what happened on that day is I became acquainted with the Vega All-in-One Shake. Vega spelled VEGA. Now, according to their description, the Vega All-in-One Shake has all of the essential nutrients necessary for effective nourishment of the physical body, such as protein, fiber, omega-3. Omega-3 is primarily found in fish, like salmon. And the Vega One All-in-One Shake also has nutrients such as the content that is found in green vegetables, probiotics, which is basically, probiotics is a beneficial bacterium which is primarily found in yogurt. Antioxidants, which is found in blueberries, and 50% of all the recommended daily intake of vitamins and minerals. That is what comprises all of the ingredients and nutrients that comprises the Vega All-in-One Shake. And so I had a sample of this at a grocery store shake, and I immediately enjoyed it because I created this idea that this shake is going to do something good with my physical body. And even though it was just a small sample, but I created that idea that even though it was a small sample, that it was going to do something amazing to my physical body. And I realized that this idea was created uh, because I have not developed an intimacy with my own physical body and with different types of food and the content found in foods, the nutrients, all of the content that comprises of a particular food item, such as broccoli and stuff like that, and how it affects the physical body on the knowledge and information level, but not only the knowledge and information, on a level of experience also. Because the body, there is, from what I have experienced, there is a sort of effect that it has on the physical body. So if I combine that with the knowledge and information of what I receive from different types of food, I'm able to formulate a response from that. And I'm also able to formulate a discernment and awareness. What I did basically was I created an intimacy with the food in relation to the taste only. The taste is that primary intimacy that I created with food. And from that, I realized that it's not even the taste that I created an intimacy towards, but actually is the experience of the taste of the food. Now, this brings up an interesting question. What is taste? You know, what does it mean to be intimate with taste alone rather than the experience of taste? There's a different experience on a mental and physical level, but the intimacy of the taste is purely on a physical level. What does it mean to have an intimacy with taste? You know, and I'm going to leave you with that.
Knowledge and information, Liam. Thank you for sharing. With knowledge and information, as I've been testing a lot of food items, I can see that we can use knowledge and information to cross-reference with what we saw and what we witness as we test things out. Easy. Realizing that this came from others, and we did not really look at how they performed this, how they came up with this. And one thing that I looked at is if we have different DNA makeups or a unique DNA makeup, how could other products that benefited others be prescribed to us, not even us having an awareness of how our body works. We did not even test it out. We did not even have journals. That's why I journaled, is because I can see that for my 50 years in this world, I am not aware of what I eat every day, what my blood sugar is like when I eat certain food. So that's what I did. Okay, so my day 12 is I'm ready to give up on myself because of so many things that I came to face to face with in this investigation. As sometimes, like, you have this belief and it will give you a reading that is opposite that. So you don't have that belief anymore. And then you will see another thing that will validate your belief. So it is really a matter of releasing those beliefs, because what you see is what you see. And do this without subjective interpretations. So there is this fear that I didn't know I had, fear of doing it on my own and getting a diet police, to sort of hold me by the hand and say, you can do it, or no, I know you're tired, and even if you're sleeping and tired and worn out, let me tell you what to do. And this is when those moments, this is when we give up on ourselves during this moment. And we just say, okay, give me whatever works, and I'll take it, because I had it. I can't make sense of this in what I saw in this investigation. I don't know how to place it. It's too big for me. That is when we have to really bring ourselves back here and say to ourselves, I am here. And I'm willing to look at this, because this is me. This is a way of being self-intimate with me. There's another fear, which is fear of being totally honest. Just like that, seeing that combination of food items that gave the same reading all the time, that is stable in terms of blood sugar level. You see, so at that point, I have an answer, because that was what I was looking for, but yet I cannot apply it in my life, because I was not ready to actually eat the same food every day. Though that brought me to another aspect of investigation, which is what I am right now, which is really what the body decides to eat. What does the body want to eat today? Because usually it's our mind deciding based on what someone said, in the media. We parrot it. We're the best copycats. And that's how I lived my life. So I'm changing that, and I'm saying, I'm not giving up on myself. I mean, I'm gonna do this, investigate until I'm satisfied with that I can assist my body and assist others through that. Because it's not through knowledge and information that we assist others, because this knowledge and information is given to us by others that investigated on their own. We don't know how they did it, or maybe we do sometimes. But would you allow yourself to miss a creation process? I mean, that is self-expression that you just missed. And that is so cool. That is so cool, because you do not see that in mainstream schools. It's all here, take this and apply that. It's always this curriculum and this education system that is so limiting, when are we just going to say, hey, all right, go outside there and find what you can create and tell me what you created. Of course, there are schools that do that, but it's a little bit limited in a way. This whole earth is a learning academy. It's a school. So if we are going to create ourselves, I mean, if we are going to be creators and we can discover things by ourselves, what are teachers for them? Have a look at that. They have their own place, but we have to really put it into proper perspective because we are our own best teachers. I'm not saying we can do, it's bad to have a teacher, anything like that. I'm saying let's redefine it and expand ourselves, expand the teachers to their utmost potential, and expand the student, and at the same time do some changes in the system. It's not small changes that we need, because the whole system is based on go and get yourself some education to be able to earn yourself an income. We need to revamp the money ecosystem to a point where we receive monthly income for our basic necessities, so that then we can have time and money to be able to express and create ourselves. Because in creation, you need money and time. I'm not saying that you should just be lazy and not. No, I'm saying that if you need some more money other than that, and you need to work and express yourself in the area of work that you are good at, you should be given a chance to do that, to work more for more. You see, there are pilot projects like in Finland. They have pilot projects on the basic income guarantee. We have the living income guarantee. I mean, health is about physical, mental, and social well-being. And well-being means the being that is me, that is the breath that is here as well, and directing my life to be the best that it can be. Because if I look at and decide from a point of what is mutually beneficial for all, wouldn't that be also beneficial for me? Have a look at that. What is your day 12, Liam?
Yes, my day 12, basically, I want to continue with the vegan all-in-one shake. And I want to talk about stevia and sugar. This vegan all-in-one shake, it has stevia in it. Stevia is a plant that is supposedly 150 to 300 times sweeter than sugar, table sugar. Now, according to the name is Dr. Marlene Merritt. She has a wellness center in Austin, Texas. Stevia has been known to not cause a rise in insulin levels because, despite its sweetness. Now, insulin is basically, insulin is basically a hormone that is secreted in the pancreas that provides energy to the cells and the body. Sometimes Insulin is created from the pancreas. Um, Sometimes it's created from the pancreas, but it's not able to get into the cells to provide the cells with sustainable energy. Now, this basically is called insulin resistance, which is what basically type 2 diabetes is. So when I first heard about the causes of insulin resistance, I understood it as something that happens when too much foods that are high in sugar content is consumed over time, which leads to insulin resistance. Now, there is another doctor. His name is Dr. Robert Lustig, and he was interviewed by Oprah Winfrey one day, and he explained that the fructose in sugar gets turned into liver fat, which can prevent the liver from processing insulin properly, which could lead to insulin resistance, and therefore it creates a greater risk of type 2 diabetes and stuff like that, cardiovascular disease, stroke, and stuff like that. But see, my realization from this was that I created fear to eating foods that have sugar content, and this includes foods basically that are high in carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are a type of sugar also. So when I learned what insulin was and how sugar could spike up the levels of sugar within the body, in the blood, I immediately went to learn a little bit more about sugar and its relationship to carbohydrates. And so basically what I learned from my research was that there are three forms of carbohydrates: starches, fiber, and sugar. And so from the knowledge I gained from it, I sought to cut out a lot of carbs from my diet so that I could stay healthy. But the question is, am I really cutting out the carbs to stay healthy, or am I doing it out of fear? So it is a point where really have to balance out your intake of carbs and sugars and stuff like that.